Most people think that turning 40 is the beginning of the end for catching up financially. But what if I told you this is the decade your money can start working harder than you ever imagined? Here's something I've seen firsthand again and again. Hundreds of people in their 40s have managed to triple their net worth in just these 10 years. Usually by nailing a few key milestones almost everyone else misses. And if you're in your 40s and feeling behind, you're not alone. In fact, missing just one of these critical wealth-building milestones could cost you 6 figures before you even hit 60. Stay with me, because I'm John from Money Masters, and in this episode, I'm breaking down the 11 wealth moves you must make in your 40s to turn possible regret into unstoppable financial momentum. We'll do the real math, look at proven strategies, and I'll show you where most people trip up so you don't have to. Ready to see which milestone could make or break your next decade? Now, before we dive into these milestones, I have to address something that weighs on almost everyone at 40 plus. Your 40s come with a unique blend of pressures that would probably leave your 20-something self curled up in a ball of stress. Your parents may start needing financial help. Your teens seem to absorb every dollar you make. And the looming shadow of retirement isn't some fantasy on a distant beach anymore. It's real. And so are the numbers. But here's the first surprise. Data from the Federal Reserve shows your 40s are typically your peak earning years. So, if you play your cards right, this decade is when compound interest has enough time left to work magic. And you have enough life wisdom to avoid rookie mistakes. But here's the real question. Will you use these years to get on the path to real financial freedom? Or will they slip by while you're putting out fires? Milestone 1, coming right up. You need to have a minimum of 6 times your annual salary saved for retirement by age 50. Sounds intense. Let's break it down with numbers, Benaumes. If you earn $80,000, a figure right around the current median household income for 40-somethings, per Census Bureau data, you're aiming for $480,000 saved in all retirement accounts by the big 50. That means 401ks, IRAs, pension benefits, and even that dusty retirement account you left lingering at your old job. The reason is simple. Nearly every financial expert, Vanguard, Fidelity, the whole crew, agrees that hitting 6 times salary by 50 puts you on track for 10 times by typical retirement age. And that's the ballpark you need to comfortably maintain your lifestyle once the paychecks stop. Here's what's even better, the math. If you have $480,000 at age 50 and keep adding just 15% of your income each year, compound interest does most of the heavy lifting. With a modest estimate of 7% annual returns, that $480K grows to over $1.6 million by 67. Suddenly, that 10-time salary mark goes from pipe dream to plan. Want exact numbers? Using the standard compound growth formula, future value equals present value, times open parent 1 plus R, close parent to the n plus payment, times open parent 1 plus R close parent to the n minus 1, close parent over R. Check for yourself. Now, if you're not close to 6 times your salary yet, you're not alone. Most people aren't, according to Vanguard's 2023 study. But don't panic. Starting at age 50, the IRS gives you a catch-up lane. You can add an extra $7,500 annually into your 401k and say, extra $1,000 into your IRA above the usual limits. That's $8,500 a year of turbo savings potential. Right when you need it. Quick progress check. Milestone 1 down. Let's get ready for 2. Milestone 2. Achieve total debt freedom, except possibly your mortgage. But here's what most miss. The only debt that should linger is your home loan. Why? Because mortgages are often low interest and long-term, while every other debt saps your monthly momentum. Picture this. If you're paying $600 in car payments, $300 in student loans, and $200 on credit cards every month. That's $1,100 simply evaporating. Over 10 years, that's $132,000 gone. And the real kicker, if you had invested that $1,100 a month in a plain vanilla index fund, tracking historic 8% returns, you'd have over $200,000 in a decade. Over 20 years, you'd be looking at $650,000. According to basic compound interest math, future value equals payment times open paren 1 plus r. Close paren to the n-1. Close paren over r close paren, that's not theoretical. That happened for investors who stayed consistent over the past decades. So every debt dollar paid off is a future wealth booster. For me, I didn't get religion on this until age 38, when my $400 car payment stared me in the face. After running the 20-year growth numbers, I realized I was trading a comfortable future for a short-term shiny car. I hustled to pay it off in 8 months and drove the same car for 6 more years. That decision alone shifted my entire trajectory. Now milestone 2 complete. On to number 3 of 11. Milestone 3, build a fortress emergency fund. In your 30s, experts typically suggest 6 months expenses. In your 40s, go for 9 to 12 months. More if you're self-employed or in a field prone to layoffs. Why the bigger buffer? Because the emergencies get pricier. Roof repairs, uncovered orthodontic work, aging parents who need modifications at home, or, occasionally, a rare investment opportunity that pops up and requires fast access. Recent Federal Reserve data puts the median emergency fund for 40-somethings at $14,000. But here's the sobering bit. Average monthly expenses for this age group are now around $5,000. That means most families have barely 3 months' expenses stashed. A real vulnerability. Your goal is clear. Grow that fund to cover 9 to 12 months. And keep that cash where it earns interest but stays fully accessible. Today's high-yield savings accounts can offer 4 to 5% Ally, Marcus, or Capital One 360, for instance. Sure, you won't get rich on the yields, but at least your fortress keeps pace with inflation. Quick pause. If you're watching and you know your emergency fund isn't where it should be, comment below which of these milestones you're determined to tackle first. Seriously, your answer might help someone else in our Money Masters community get motivated, too. Before we jump to milestone 4, let's recap. Milestone 1. Get 6 times your salary saved by 50. Milestone 2. Crush all non-mortgage debt. Milestone 3. Build that emergency fund fortress. Coming up next, we get into strategies most 40-somethings never tap into. But the ones who do reap massive rewards. Milestone 4. Build multiple income streams. Your 40s are prime time for income diversification. I don't mean hustle culture, 18 side jobs. Instead, leverage your career capital, rent out a property, consult part-time, pick up project work in your field, or double down on investments that produce dividends. According to a 2022 United States Census report, over 44% of Americans in their 40s reported some form of supplemental income. Last year, the payoff isn't just extra cash, it's peace of mind. I saw this firsthand with a friend, Sarah, a software engineer who, in her early 40s, began consulting on weekends for startups that couldn't afford full-time staff. In about 2 years, her monthly side income averaged $2,000. Her investment accounts ballooned by an extra $24,000 per year, and she kept her day job. Real stories beat theory every time. Now, milestone 4 down. Let's keep rolling. Milestone 5 is one most people overlook. But before we get there, a curiosity check. The most overlooked milestone in your 40s is coming up soon, and hardly anyone has it handled. Think you know what it is? Stick around. Because just a minute from now, I'll go into the step that separates the comfortable from the wealthy for life. Milestone 5. Tax optimization is non-negotiable in your 40s. If you're earning peak wages, you're likely in your highest lifetime tax bracket. Here's where all those retirement accounts you've stashed money in become your tax shield. The IRS lets you contribute $23,000 to your 401k, plus a $7,500 catch-up if you're 50 or older. Add $7,000 to your IRA, with a $1,000 catch-up, and if eligible, $6,000 into a Roth IRA per year. In total, that can mean over $36,000 tax-sheltered annually. Money that can grow faster since Uncle Sam isn't taking a cut today. If you run a side business, Solo 401ks or SEP IRAs could boost your tax savings even further. Some let you shelter up to $69,000 per year, IRS, 2024. If you own real estate, depreciation can reduce your taxable income. And if you have college-age kids, education credits like the American Opportunity Credit are available. Remember, this isn't about tricking the system, it's about using the rules in your favor. For most people at this stage, working with a CPA or tax pro is worth it. They'll spot deductions that pay for themselves many times over. Quick milestone count, that's 5 of 11. And we're just getting into the areas where the biggest, lifelong mistakes get made. Milestone 6, long-term care planning. Here's a brutal stat. 70% of people over 65 will need long-term care at some point. United States Department of Health and Human Services. Average cost of a nursing home, over $7,000 per month. And most health insurance and even Medicare leave big gaps here. If you need 3 years of care, you could be looking at $250,000 out of pocket, which could devastate retirement balances and even a spouse's future. What's the solution? For some, it's dedicated long-term care insurance. Though costs have risen and coverage shrunk lately, others increase retirement savings specifically to self-insure, and some opt for hybrid life insurance policies with a long-term care rider. The most important thing? Act in your 40s, when you're healthy, and your options are widest. If you wait until health problems start, prices skyrocket, or you may not even qualify for coverage. Trying to buy flood insurance after the hurricane hits is a losing game. I promised a midpoint curiosity hook. And here it is. The next milestone is the single most overlooked, but getting this wrong could cost you a decade or more of financial security. We'll break it down after a quick progress check. So far, we've covered 6 crucial moves: retirement savings, paying off debt, a serious emergency fund, building extra income, strategic tax defense, and long-term care. Up next, the habit that turns wealth into legacy. Milestone 7, creating your financial legacy plan. Yes, this is more than just a will or power of attorney, those are essential. But a real legacy plan is about intentionally shaping how your wealth impacts your family, or causes you care about for generations. If you have kids or grandkids, think about 529 plans or custodial Roth IRAs to support their education or give them a financial head start. Or maybe it's about teaching the next generation investing basics and how to avoid repeating common mistakes. But legacy doesn't have to be limited just to your family. You can build a charitable giving plan, create a scholarship, or invest in businesses that bring jobs to your community. The point: your 40s are time to define what financial impact, beyond just security, you want to leave behind. If you're finding this valuable, pause and hit that like button, and subscribe for more deeply actionable financial strategies. And remember, this is for educational purposes only and not specific investment advice. Consult a financial professional for your situation. And always check our citation list for every stat and number. All right, milestone 7 complete. So a rapid-fire recap. You've set your retirement target, killed high-interest debt, locked down your emergency fund, built new income streams, optimized for taxes, started long-term care planning, and mapped your legacy. Coming up, the 3 final moves that separate those who just make it from those whose money starts. Snowballing. Milestone 8. Achieve wealth-building momentum. Here's the game changer. You know you're there when your net worth grows more from investment growth than your own contributions. At this stage, you'll see your emergency fund earn more in interest than most people save in a year. You might actually look forward to market dips because you recognize opportunities to buy low, creating explosive long-term gains. I'll give you a real example. At 43, my own investment portfolio grew more in a single month, thanks to compounding and returns, than I had contributed over the prior 6 months. That's the moment when the snowball of wealth turns into an avalanche. According to Vanguard, this phase is fully accessible for disciplined savers by their late 40s if they've been maximizing accounts and living even slightly below their means for 15 to 20 years. Miss it. and you risk spending the next decade treading water while peers coast on compounding. Here's a core principle, and it's quotable. Time is still on your side, but only if you act this decade. Milestone 9. Master strategic spending in your peak earning years. This one trips up more high earners than any other. Your 40s are when your income peaks, and the temptation to level up everything, from cars to vacations to your house, is stronger than ever. But not all spending is equal. There's a big difference between dropping $10,000 on a memory-making family trip versus blowing $10,000 on a fancier car to keep up with the Joneses. Research from the Journal of Consumer Psychology shows spending on experiences, health, time savings, and relationships leads to more lasting happiness than spending on material goods. That means putting money into a gym membership, regular family getaways, or food that enhances long-term health is strategic spending. It also means hiring help when needed. For instance, paying for meal delivery during a crazy work season so you can focus on what matters. Most importantly, don't be afraid to invest in specialized financial advice. Having a planner handle the complexity of taxes and investments can save you net tens of thousands over time. The bottom line with strategic spending, always ask, does this align with my values and my long-term goals? Or am I just chasing a fleeting dopamine hit? Miss this milestone, and you risk falling into the lifestyle inflation trap, where all your new earnings disappear, and you wonder where the years and the opportunities went. Now, milestone 9 down. Only 2 to go. Here's another curiosity loop. The next move is almost never automated, but it's the one that makes financial stability nearly bulletproof. Stay with me, because if you miss this, all your hard work can get undone when life gets chaotic. Milestone 10. Master financial automation. By now, your money should be working so seamlessly that even if something happened to you, your plan would keep ticking. Automation means more than just paycheck. Direct deposit, it means your emergency fund refills itself as needed. Your retirement contributions automatically rise every time you get a raise. Your portfolios rebalance themselves. Almost every major brokerage and robo-advisor does this now. Think Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, and all bills are set to auto-pay. Some platforms even let you set rules, so, for example, every dollar above a certain checking account balance flows into your brokerage. Automating all this is vital because your 40s are a logistical circus. Multiple accounts, college funds, parental caregiving, second homes or properties, maybe even managing a side business. Manually tracking all this is a recipe for burnout and lost opportunities. In practice, I use a free tool like Personal Capital to track net worth and automate my target allocation, coupled with Mint for budgeting, and I let my 401k escalate contributions every January. Even if you still like spreadsheets, automate what you can, your future self will thank you. That brings us to the final milestone. Milestone 11 of 11, the one that can buy you what no investment account ever will. Your time. Milestone 11, learn to use money to buy back your time. By your 40s, you typically earn enough to make trade-offs that weren't possible in earlier years. The most successful, happiest people I know invest their money into freeing time for important things. Raising kids, pursuing health, nurturing relationships, focusing on professional growth, or giving back to their community, whether it's outsourcing housework, yard care, or even meal prep. Every hour you reclaim is an hour you can spend on activities that create more meaning or more money, sometimes both. This is almost always the mark of someone who graduates to multi-generational wealth. They consciously decide that time, not just money, is their most valuable asset. Now let's do a lightning-fast recap of all 11. 1. Reach 6 times your annual salary saved by age 50. 2. Crush all non-mortgage debt. 3. Build a serious emergency fund covering 9 to 12 months' expenses. 4. Develop multiple income streams. Max out tax advantage savings. And optimize taxes like your wealth depends on it, because it does. 6. Tackle long-term care planning before it's a crisis. 7. Craft your legacy plan, not just for your kids but for your values. 8. Achieve compound growth so your money's momentum outpaces your effort. 9. Spend strategically. Experiences and time matter more than stuff. 10. Automate everything you possibly can. Complexity is the enemy of follow-through. 11. And finally, buy back your time so wealth becomes freedom. Miss a milestone, and you might miss a decade of retirement. And if you want to put these into action, don't miss the downloadable checklist linked below to audit where you stand on each one, with tactical steps right alongside. One more ask before we close. What's one money win or mistake you've had in your 40s? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience will help someone else in the Money Masters community avoid or pursue the right next step. Remember, all numbers mentioned in this episode are pulled from reputable research. Vanguard's How America Saves 2023, IRS contribution limits, the Federal Reserve Consumer Finance Survey, the United States Department of Health and Human Services, and peer-reviewed financial journals. But everybody's journey is different, and past performance never guarantees future results. This content is for educational purposes only, not specific investment advice. Consult a trusted financial advisor for your unique plan. Ready to transform your 40s into the decade that changes everything? Let's go build that wealth and that freedom together. Let's wrap up with a quick summary. A playbook for your 40s that can redefine your financial course. We covered all 11 milestones, from hitting that all-important 6 times your salary by 50 target to automating your money, buying back your time, and making every dollar serve both today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. So what's next? Step 1. Grab the checklist linked in the description. Use it tonight to see exactly where you stand on each milestone. Over the next month, commit to closing just one gap, even if it's boosting retirement contributions by 1% or finally automating a bill. In 90 days, measure your progress and share it with our Money Masters community. Then bookmark your calendar because every 6 months, revisit your checklist and adjust your plan. Use tools like Personal Capital, Mint, or any budgeting app that makes automation, allocation, and tracking simple. In as little as 1 year, you'll see real momentum. Your account's growing, your stress dropping, and most importantly, you'll feel in control of your time and money instead of the other way around. Remember, most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a week, but underestimate what can be done in a decade. And here's your 3-tier CTA. First, if you haven't already, comment which milestone you'll tackle first or share a win or a hard lesson from your 40s, because someone in the Money Masters audience will relate. Second, screenshot these action steps or share this episode with a friend who's also trying to build serious wealth in midlife. Let's make a dent in financial stress for our whole community. Finally, don't leave without downloading my free 40s Wealth Milestone Checklist. Exact steps, key deadlines, and editable trackers. And if this video has helped you, share it widely and subscribe to Money Masters for more real, data-driven financial education. Last and most important, this content is for educational purposes only, not personal investment advice. Your situation is unique. Consult a licensed financial professional before making big moves. Numbers and projections are drawn from sources like the Federal Reserve, Vanguard, and the IRS. But past results aren't guaranteed for the future. It's your money. Build your plan with wisdom and care.